favourite, right, which is a comment thinly disguised as a question. And you just kind of raise your voice at the end, don't you think? Like you're Australian or French or something.
Okay, we've got a roving mic, I think, over here.
I'll take notes. Who's going first? We can do a group of questions if you want. Come on, somebody.
I would just like to know, what work does Liberty do to encourage young people, because we've got quite a few of them in the audience today, to get involved in Liberty? Is there like a young Liberty?
That feels like quite a pointed question. There isn't a young Liberty, but we do have lots and lots of young members. There is no lower age limit whatsoever. And we have certainly had, and we have, members as young as 10, 11, 12, writing to us to say that they have joined. There is lots of work that my colleagues are increasingly doing on this newfangled social media stuff, and that is a great way to engage people. I spend a lot of my time travelling around the country to schools and colleges and universities, and so do my colleagues. And also we have been in recent months and years piloting materials for schools. We've been working with teachers again around the country on materials to make the Human Rights Act very graphically understandable to young people, because they need to know, because it's really for them, they need to know what's at stake. When Mr. Gove was Education Secretary before he took on his new role as Lord Chancellor, you'd be surprised to hear he wasn't desperately keen on human rights education in schools. So if it's not going to come from the government, it has to come from civil society, and that's what we try to do. Who's next? Yes.
Shami, because this is a children and young people's perspective as well.
Shout a little bit.
So because it's a children and young people's perspective as well, what are 3 things for you that would really, that girls, young people could take away, young women could take away to become leaders within the community themselves?
Okay, so go back to the movie. So the question was, what message to take away if you're a young woman or a girl on your journey to being the next generation of leaders in our community, which is what you will be. I really hope that. Started well by being here right now. In that wonderful movie, you see Maud's journey. Right, that is a very young woman, even in that film. And she's not a posh woman. Sometimes the suffragettes are sort of trivialised and ridiculed. They're all posh women. And they were extremists, and actually it was the war that got women there. All sorts of ahistoric nonsense. The movie wouldn't have been made if Meryl Streep wasn't in it. Emmeline Pankhurst, an icon plays an icon. Streep plays Pankhurst, but she's in the movie for 3 minutes, right? The heroine of Suffragette is a girl who was born in a laundry in the East End of London. She was born in the laundry. She never knew her father, and we know why that is, because she was probably born as a result of abuse of her mother, another young laundress in that laundry. And we see her suffragette journey at the beginning of the movie. She's like, no, I'm not a suffragette, and she's just, doing her best to do the work that she's given, and she's putting up with all sorts of indignities. And then she watches the next generation of young girls putting up with the same appalling abusive treatment that she has, and at that point she begins to snap. And that woman, from far less educational advantage than probably anybody in this room, goes on to become, in that story, a leader of that movement, so that even the more middle class women that have had greater privilege are turning to her for leadership and guidance. So it is what we have it in all of us. We just have to decide whether it's a path that we choose. And I think it's certainly something that anybody who is sitting here in school uniform today has the tools and the instincts to do. Has anybody else got anything to? Yes.
You said that we know that our human rights are about. Sorry, you said that our human rights are the thing that we need to really concentrate on challenging. What suggestions do you have? I mean, are there campaigns already out there? Is it letter writing? Is it debate so that you can let your friends and colleagues know. Can you tell us what there is at the moment that we can participate? And also, can you just tell us how we join Liberty?
Yes, thank you. You're asking an incredibly helpful question. So the easiest way to join Liberty is to type Liberty Human Rights into your favourite search engine. And I say type Liberty Human Rights because there is some sort of smart department store on Piccadilly. I don't need to get distracted. So you type Liberty Human Rights and we pop up, and then the best and easiest thing for everybody is you join online. And the way that we campaign is, as you probably detected from my talk, a combination of test case litigation that we bring in the courts, pick cases that we think are going to advance the campaign, both in law but also in the popular consciousness, to get people to think differently about the importance of their human rights. We do media work, we do parliamentary lobbying, and if you join Liberty, one of the things that we will ask you to do probably is to tell us who your MP is, and we will tell you where they are situated in terms of their views on this stuff. We will, give you materials and ammunition with which to write to them, to go and see them in their surgeries and so on. And you will be sent lots of information about different ways that you can participate in different campaigns. But the big one, the existential Liberty campaign at the moment, is called Save Our Human Rights Act. And that is the one, most of all, that I urge you all to get involved in if you join Liberty, because it's the one from which everything else flows. If we lose that basic protection, it will be so much harder to do all of our other work. And look, I have human rights campaign, and not rights for this person or that person or whatever, but I will also say to you that from where I'm sitting in 2015, gender injustice is the greatest human rights abuse on the planet. And I don't say that lightly, because I'm not into a competition for victimhood, but that is literally my view, because I think it is like an apartheid, but not in one country and not at one time. It is global and it is millennial. And so it is women who need their human rights protection and activism more than anyone else.
Just wondering, you've spoken about the relationship with the Conservative government. With the change of tide in the opposition, what's the relationship between Liberty and the Labour Party like now they've got a new leader? Has there been any change in the relationship?
But there's definitely been a change. I should say that Liberty is a cross-party, non-party organisation. So we have always had friends across the democratic framework. At the extremes, it's probably not that many UKIP members. I don't know. It might be one or two. So we're cross-party, non-party, and we do. I want to tell you that there are rebel Tory MPs who are with us on this. There are rebel Tory MPs who would not disagree with pretty much anything that I said when I was defending the Human Rights Act. But we need a lot of them if we're going to win. And on this, the Labour Party is now completely silent. Now, I know that there are debates to be had about the new leadership and Jeremy Corbyn, and yes, it would have been nice to see more women in the top jobs, etc., etc. But he does have an exemplary voting record on human rights issues. That is clear. And even the Andy Burnhams and the Charlie Faulkners, the people who are a bit more New Labour, have now in this moment become much more solid in their defence of the Human Rights Act. So it is a moment of great opportunity, I think, for Liberty, and it's sometimes strained relations with the Labour Party, which go back to when New Labour was in government for all those years doing not so great things, like interning people without charge and slashing legal aid. So now you're right, it's a moment of enormous opportunity for cohesion and dynamism and solidarity, not least because the trade union legislation that's currently going through is another great affront to civil liberties. It's public sector workers, who of course are mostly women, who are going to suffer the most from that spiteful piece of ideological legislation. So it is a really important moment for us in terms of galvanising opposition to the spread of human rights.
Perhaps it's time just for one
question. I'll do two together. Yeah.
Hi, I certainly agree with you about the gender inequality being a really big thing coming up. I work for an adult education charity and I work with women. We have a project called Equal Voices, and the women we work with generally are women who have just moved to the UK, so there's language barriers and cultural issues as well, perhaps perceptions about what rights really are for them. And what we find is it's really difficult for us to encourage them to access things like, campaigns like the ones that Liberty have, because of the language barrier and the kind of cultural barrier. And so there are so many organisations out there that are kind of championing human rights and women's rights, but somehow, although on a local level, and in Islington especially, we have some very good smaller organisations, how do organisations like mine kind of help or make the voices of our women louder at the national level with organisations like Liberty's?
What sort of advice would you give young women who want to become something in the future but face obstacles such as sexism?
It was two easy questions. I think you make a really, really important point about newcomers to any country are particularly vulnerable. They are vulnerable anyway because they are overtly discriminated against in law, sometimes in not being allowed to work, in the services that they are not allowed to access, particularly at this moment. And then there are the psychological barriers. I have a friend, a wonderful young woman called Melton After, who was detained in the Isles Wood as a teenager and subject to all kinds of indignities. And she's now the most, if she were on this stage, she'd be the most articulate example to these young women about how you can overcome adversity and stand up for other people. But when we speak privately, she talks about how hard it is when you have been a refugee to stand up and speak for yourself as opposed to other people. The embarrassment, about feeling that you're entitled to anything. You've been treated very badly, whoever you are. It's very hard to believe that you actually deserve something better. And so I think you're probably doing the right thing by working at the grassroots level, but sometimes people need to build a confidence at the grassroots level and be nurtured before they can be sort of catapulted into the national public spotlight. But then, we at Liberty are certainly happy to work with any grassroots or local groups on things like test case litigation and other platforms that are trying to give people more of a voice. And we've done it in different ways over the years, including arranging for people to go to Parliament and give evidence, or arranging media work. There are things we can do to help if you get in touch with us. And so to the young woman who's going to be Prime Minister one day, that has to deal with a little bit of sexism first. I know it's hard, but the secret is solidarity. It's an old-fashioned word, but it's a really good one. And again, if you watch my favourite movie, you'll see that is what gives the individual the ministry. When you know that it's not just you, when you're facing discrimination and downright abuse, it can make you feel really isolated and alone when someone's telling you you're just a woman, or you're just a girl, or you're just this. And that actually happens to Maud in the movie. I keep spoiling it, but there's wonderful exchanges between Maud, our heroine, and a policeman. She's arrested many times, and you see a dialogue between the two of them. And she's told repeatedly that no one's going to listen to her. But what the movie offers as an answer to your question is armies of women marching together, and the experience of women coming together and standing side by side. And that's really ultimately where we draw our confidence from. And I suppose that's my best advice to you.
And actually, I feel it's really right. Our next speakers
people